Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, so it's time for a new vlog. This week was Patch Week. Patch 7.3 officially landed this week, so we've all been able to scurry off to Argus and do all sorts of Argusy things out there. And I have to say, for first impressions, so far I really like it. I'm having a blast. I'm actually having so much fun. There's not even, and it's funny because there's not even that much to do yet. The questing took a little while. Opinions that I've heard are solidly split between there's too much questing, I don't want to do this, and these quests were over too quickly. So I'm kind of like solidly in the middle. They were over fairly quickly, but I still had fun with them, and I don't feel like I needed there to be more. And ever since then, I've just been kind of doing world quests, getting acquainted, getting oriented, kind of figuring out how to get from point A to point B. I've been getting reunited with my grandmounts. Some of those are kind of cool, and I haven't seen them in a while. So far, the main thing that's been motivating me to actually go out into Argus and do all the world quests and kind of explore a little bit every day has been finding treasure chests and then killing the rares for Veiled Argonite. Because the 910 gear is it's good. I have a couple of slots that don't have 910 pieces yet, and because I can just farm Veiled Argonite and then buy 910 pieces for those slots and hope for Titan Forges or hope for sockets or hope for good stats, I'm still having a lot of fun going and doing that, and I am looking forward to having more sources of Veiled Argonite. Starting next week when invasion points come out. So I've been having fun. I've been working through the pet bosses. I did a little bit of intact Demon Eye farming towards Crossgazer. I don't know when I'm gonna finish that because that's not a short grind. So far, Argus has been top notch for me. I will say though that it doesn't seem to have quite the drawback power that some patches have had. I found that a lot of my guild has become less active since we finished progressing in Tomb, and 7.3 has not done as much to bring them back as other patches have. They're all on a big Path of Exile kick right now, and I think they're also really looking forward to Destiny, so maybe that's why. Maybe it's not the fault of the patch, but just anecdotally speaking, I don't know how many people it's actually brought back. I do think it is a little bit light on things to do every day so far. But I think invasion points coming out on Tuesday are going to do a lot to remedy that. I think that taking the time to go do those whenever they're up, if you're really trying to do everything you can in Argus and get yourself lots of Veiled Argonite, I think that invasion points are going to kind of scratch that itch a little bit, as well as getting access to the third zone. We've only unlocked 2/3 of the place so far. So getting the Macquarie, and then, of course, in the following week, Nendolite Crucible, and then the Seat of the Triumvirate. I think those things will all really help kind of make the zone sort of come to life a little bit more, but I appreciated having the first week to kind of get my bearings a little bit. I thought it felt well paced. It only recently occurred to me that not only can we not fly in Argus though, I don't know if there's any plans for us to fly in Argus. I don't think there are. It's a little bit disconcerting to think that they may not actually add a Pathfinder achievement to it. It doesn't seem like there is one planned. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, you know, we still can't fly in the Timeless Isle, and we still can't fly in the Throne of Thunder, so it's not unprecedented. A lot of my relaxedness about not being able to fly was kind of contingent on them adding another Pathfinder. I hope they do that. It's not gonna, like, ruin the game for me if they don't. And then the other thing that I think is going to kind of alleviate sort of the time-consumingness of navigating on Argus is as soon as we get to, I think it's Revered with the Argusian Reach. I'm pretty sure it's Argusian Reach. It might be Army of Light, but one of those two factions, you get Revered and you get an item like a Crocool Flute, which I think would make it Argusian Reach. I think they're the Crocool-based ones. Anyways, you get that, and that will let you upgrade your Flightmaster's Whistle to basically whistle you back to one of those teleport pads on Argus, so I'm looking forward to getting that. I think having the whistle upgraded will be really good. I keep finding myself kind of like stuck out on some random corner of Argus after having done my world quest, and then I don't necessarily want to go all the way back to Dalaran, but I end up hearthing out there anyways because I don't want to run all the way back. One thing that struck me as very odd that I've noticed, not on the PTR but only on 7.3 as it went live, and maybe some of you have noticed this too, but my combat follower, super aggro now, she tanks. Or she doesn't really tank because she dies, but she tries. And I mean, it's the thought that counts. But I do not remember my combat follower holding aggro at all, ever. And now it seems like she's constantly taking mobs away from me, which is actually great because on Argus, if I'm soloing a rare mob, it's nice to have them kind of ping back and forth between me and my follower as we swap aggro. But I don't know if that was intended. She dies a lot, but she just comes right back like mid-fight. So it seems a little bit overly good, but I'm not going to complain. The secret finding community has been hard at work unraveling basically Riddler's Mindworm 2.0. It's the Lucid Nightmare? Is that what it's called? It's like a red unicorn. It's like the Dream Runner, but like black and red, and I want it. And there's so many people. There's like over 1,000 people in that Discord all working together to try and figure out these clues. And the last I heard, I haven't checked today, but the last I heard they were very stuck. But I think it's just so cool how many people there are all working together to figure out this thing. Best of luck to them. I am very glad that there are dedicated people like that to do that kind of thing because I am terrible at puzzles. And I would be no help at all. So last Tuesday on patch release day, I went to Argus and I did all the stuff, and then I was like, you know what? I need all of these Raiding with Leashes pets, and I need them stat, because I'm pretty sure that as I continue making the family fighter strategies, elemental strategies have continued to be a sticking point on some of the harder bosses. And I'm just looking at all these elemental pets from Raiding with Leashes that I didn't have, and I'm like, I need them. I need my buddies. So I went to try and get all of them in one night. And I managed to farm almost all of them. I did cave and buy a couple of them. At the end of a very long night, I did actually get them all done. And in case you needed extra motivation to go run the old Cata raids, the pets are selling quite well right now. I got lucky and made a couple of good sales very early on with those, so I'm a lot closer to my Celestial Kafkal. But secondly, the Amalgam of Destruction, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, the pet that you get for doing the meta achievement, looks a lot cooler on live than it did like in Model Viewer. The effects on it, it like leaves lava behind it. I'll put a clip up somewhere, but it leaves lava behind it, and then it also has like this weird fire smoky thing. It looks really cool, so I'm excited about that. Other stuff going on. I wanted to give a huge thank you. Again, I know I mentioned this last week, but to everybody supporting on Patreon, we reached another goal this month, which means that I will be setting up a post office box. If anybody would like to write me letters, I will be doing that sometime this month once I can actually get myself to a post office and get that set up. I will let you guys know. Last, I'm going to be out of town this weekend, just Saturday, Sunday. I should be back by Monday. I'm going to bring my laptop with me to keep, if I get any extra time, I'm not sure if I will, but if I get any extra time, I'm going to keep working through pet strategies. I'm kind of halfway through a couple of different pets, so definitely expect more pet strategies next week. It might be a little pet strategy dense as far as videos, but there's a lot of them and we got to get through them all. Speaking of pets, one thing that I actually haven't done yet, I haven't caught a single wild pet in Argus yet. I think that I'm going to I feel like I want to do that on stream today. I think that would be kind of fun to just go on like a pet catching safari on stream. Questions from this week. Damon asks, when you're doing stuff out in the world and you get stunned, you can't move or do anything. In pet battles, you can swap out a stunned pet. Does that bug you too? Paraphrasing a little bit. So basically, I see the discrepancy. I see where you're coming from. But I'll say that that has never particularly bothered me because I've never really enjoyed being stunned, so having a little bit more choice. Like, the thing that, in PvP, the thing that a lot of players will complain about when they're getting stunned is that it's not typically very avoidable, and it's not fun to have your choice taken away from you in such an unavoidable manner. And PvP has its own problems, but in pet battles, I like the way they've done it because you're still stunned. That pet still cannot do anything. But I like that you can swap your pet out because it gives you sort of a choice as to what you want to do with the situation, but it's still quite punishing because when you swap your pet out, you're losing your turn, and then whatever pet you swap in has to eat whatever follow-up attack they had planned for after that stun. So it's not like you're getting off free. It's not like you get to just go, whoops, never mind, you didn't stun me, we're good now, I'm gonna come out ahead. Typically the stun does put you behind. It just, you have a little bit more control, like a little bit more choice in the matter, and I always felt that was alright. But I definitely see where you're coming from. If anything, they should add the ability in Arena, if you get stunned for longer than like 3 seconds, you can just swap characters and come in on a different class. You know, the druid healer that was stunned just like vanishes, and then a shaman falls from the sky and you're like, I'm back! I think that would be funny. Mads asks, would really love to know which class is your favorite. So I read your question, and I thought about it. And I thought about it more. And it's really hard to pick. You would think I would just pick priest. But I'm only really in love with one of the 3 priest specs. I have total apathy towards discipline. No offense to discipline priest, it's just not something that I've ever really gotten into. And holy is fine, but like shadow is kind of where my heart is. But that's not like a class, that's just a spec. So I was thinking if we could mash together a shadow priest, a beast mastery hunter, and a resto druid. If those 3 specs could become one class, that would be my favorite class. Like, I basically just want to play Tyrande. I want to have a moon pet, I want to heal people, and I also want some, like, you know, she can go shadow form in Hearthstone. I want, like, a shadow priest with beast mastery and healing. Not necessarily all in the same spec, although that would be something. But I basically want to be edgy Tyrande. Yeah, why not? Nick asks, hi Hazel, I really like joining you for as many PTR runs as I can during your live streams. I'm just wondering if you plan on keeping that through the next expansion and patches. So, that is a lot of fun, and thank you very much for tanking for me. You've really saved me a couple of different times in those PTR runs. Whether or not we continue running new content in viewer groups on PTRs and betas eventually when the next expansion's in beta, assuming that I can get in, Really depends on how well the videos do that I make from that. I'm making a complete set of raid guides for the Burning Throne. I'm going to do my very best to have those be as complete as possible and also all out before the launch of the raid. And depending, I'm gonna kind of give everything I have to make those guides the best I can. And if they do well, then I will likely do that for every patch. But if it turns out that the community in general is pretty much covered on guides and they're not really looking for another type of them, then I'll probably kind of shift my focus to do different kind of PTR videos. So it really depends on how those videos do, and whether or not it turns out to be ultimately worth the time I put into it. As far as viewer raids though, viewer raids just like outside of PTR, those are really fun. I like doing those. I really wish I could tank better. If I could learn how to like tank really well, I think it would be super fun to have a semi-regular viewer group that runs through and just does kind of casual raids. And then in like a perfect world, I have an EU account, so I can also do one like on EU. But for now, I'm gonna leave that alone because that has biting off more than I can chew written all over it. But yeah, doing raids with you guys is really fun. Testing the new content with you guys is really fun. So I will continue doing so as long as it makes sense YouTube-wise, if that kind of makes sense. So that has been my week. I look forward to seeing some of you on this afternoon stream. Starts at 3 p.m. Pacific time, goes until 5 p.m. Like I said, probably going to be catching some wild pets. If you have any questions you would like answered on a vlog, just leave them as comments on the most recent vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like, just for background on why the asking for likes thing is a thing. Likes, like the gist of it is basically it's easier for new people to find the videos if they have a lot of likes and comments and whatever. That's why people ask for them. So for things like guides in particular, where I want it to be easy for somebody looking for that information to find it, that's why that's there. But anyways, yeah, please leave a like if you liked it, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!